So we're going to be starting to design the prototyping here by creating the navbar. Okay, so last time we finished on creating the splash screens. One thing we didn't actually focus on is actually making these textiles into actual textiles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a new style where I'm just going to write out a new sort of text. So it's going to be 2XL. It's going to be semi-bold, full. Actually, it's not even going to be full. The full actually indicates the line height. So instead of full, we want to say condensed and condensed again. We talked about this name convention here. 2XL indicates the size here. Since it's an 81 pixel font here, it's a bit big, so 2XL. Then SB indicates semi-bold. Condensed here indicates the line height, and condensed here on the final one indicates the letter spacing. So let's just create that text style, and we have to go back to branding here and apply that. So I'm just going to duplicate this. So here, most of the stuff will be the same. We're just going to have to change this to 84 and this to from 3XL to just 8XL, and this should be 81. Then let's get this down here and let's apply the 2XL font here. Great. So after this, let's just take this here and position it perfectly. Great. So here we have this textile done. And what we want to do is you want to just focus on this and apply proper spacing. Currently it's 40 pixels, so I want to get it close to 32 just to keep the Figma file here very structured and clean. Now, as I said before, today we're going to be focusing on the navbar. So the navigation currently is just this, and as we click it, nothing really happens. Actually, I'm just going to have to present this Figma file here in Figma's play mode. And as you can see here, if I click on this, nothing happens because there are no interactions. And also, it's just there and it doesn't have any actual use. So here we have, as you can see here, we have the iPhone mockup. So what we can do here is we can just go forward here until we get some sort of mobile nav. And as we click it here, you can see it's not even responsive. So we have to work on that. Let's start by creating the navbar or full navigational page. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select the splash 4 and I'm just going to duplicate it and get it closer. The reason I'm actually taking the splash 4 is because we already have the proper background color. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to call this the nav bar. So this is the actual final full page we're going to be creating. And this just not going to be nav bar, it's actually going to be nav menu. And we will have to make some changes now. Let's start by just removing everything, deleting everything here since we don't need it. Let's get this down since it's the last layer we are creating here. And let's start by actually taking the nav bar and including it there. So I'm just going to take it. And if I hold shift and press R, you can see our rulers coming up. So I'm just going to paste it right here. And you can see it is not visible. So we have to fix that. Let's go back to components. Let's go to the navbar here, and I'm just going to create a new component for the navbar. This is going to be open. That is for the open navbar, and this is going to be close. So closed and opened. Then I'm going to just take this, apply our brand color, give it proper utilization of auto layout here just to make everything look better and more organized, right? So after this, let's actually just take everything here and let's just move it down so it does not overlap. So here's very simple. We're just going to have to change one color, and that is the color of the logo. So I'm just going to select the logo here. From the default, I'm going to change it to orange BG. I'm going to go back to design. I'm going to change this to opened. So now we have a proper navigation that is contrasting enough and it is visible. Great, so let's continue here by creating our actual nav elements. So the two pages we have are the home page, the actual home page, which is this one right here, and the favorites page, right? So all of them are supporting pages or state pages. So these are the two pages. So let's just apply them here. Let's write them out. So let's start by saying home. I'm going to go all caps here. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's just start from the home and let's start by giving it the previously used large font here and the favorites, right? So favorites. So I'm just going to use the same sort of fonts here uh, since we want to be a bit more consistent with our font style utilization. After this, let's just take them both and let's apply auto layouts, 16 pixel gap, and let's just make sure they are positioned perfectly. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this black color here to the favorites, indicating that currently the home page is the one selected. Right, so at this point, let's just rename this to be nav elements or links. You can call it whatever you want. Let's apply the white color here and we are done with the links, right? So we're going to be continuing here with some extra information. So your nav bar is very powerful in the terms that you have a bit of space here to say whatever you want and to include stuff you couldn't include in other pages since you don't have space. So here I'm going to include a couple of things here. Let's start by writing out the definition or the purpose of this app here. I know eRadio is for a mobile app that uses Wi-Fi to broadcast radio channels instead of just using antennas. But here, this is actually for a course here on mobile UI UX design for YouTube. So I will just have to say that and give this a mention. So I'm just going to write it out here. Let's make it actually smaller here. And go with base. Okay. Okay. Great. So what I want to do is I want to take this line it's here and just drag it out. Maybe drag it in a bit here. We don't want it to have too much space. Great, so I don't want this to be uh like the center focal point. So I'm just gonna take the white here and I'm actually gonna change it up here. Just get it closer to the orange. The contrast checker sometimes doesn't work. Obviously, white is very much visible. So let's just select this. Something like this here, maybe. And I want to apply this as being the brand 900, meaning the lightest color of orange that we could get. Obviously, we have to go back and apply that here. As I have to just duplicate this, rename this brand 900, and apply it here as well. Okay, great. So obviously our curve styles, as you can see, are very much maturing and growing each episode here. Finally, we want to just take this, group them. I want to go with around 54 pixel That looks fine, but since there is 16 pixels difference here, I want to go 32 to have proper spacing based on the connectivity. Now, the final thing I want to include is social links. This is very common on nav bars. I'm going to have two links. One is for X or Twitter. And let's make it smaller. Uh, okay, so after that, let's just duplicate this and let's create one for YouTube. And let's finally create one more for Dribble. Okay, great. So we were just going to take these fonts. By the way, let's call this the main part here, or the actual content. This part, I mean. And let's just take these guys and just group them. 32 pixel difference is what I'm going for. Actually, what I'm going to go for is auto spacing and just dragging them out. And let's go with a black, full black here. And that looks very nice. So actually, let's just take these two. Let's call this socials. This should be 64 pixels from the nav bar. And this should be around 16 pixels from the bottom. Where are the sizes coming from? It's basically convention. You don't want the ints to be close to each other. I mean, close to the screen. As we did here, for example, we gave it extra spacing here, 16 pixels, and we want to do this the same here. And we also want to have 64 gap here because since we have 32 here and 16 here, you can see we are increasing its multiples of 2, 16, 32. But here, since there isn't as much connectivity, again, we should increase it with multiples of 2 on 16, that is. So 32 and 64. Great. So after this, obviously, if we just keep going, you can see our mobile navigational page. But also you can notice that it is not actually functional, right? So what I mean by that is if I go back and if I click this navbar, it doesn't really work. So we would have to do some prototyping to make that work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to components here and I should have some prototyping options so that when we click then this navigation here, it should change into that screen. But that's not our job for today. We're going to be working on that next time. For today, what I want to finish off is by just fixing one small thing here. If you noticed, this is still a hamburger menu, and we actually want to use an X icon for that to indicate closing. So let's just take that from here. Let's just take it and go back. Let's go to design. Let's go to assets again. And under the icons, let's just paste it here. Let's make it white. Control Alt. Actually, is it perfectly positioned? Yeah, okay. Control Alt O. Okay, great. So it should be 16 pixels by 16 pixels. And let's just get this out here and let's name it close icon. Let's make it into components actually and copy it. Let's go back to components. And for this one, for the open navbar, Control Shift R, and this actually works quite nicely. So now when you go back to design, it is an X instead of an open menu, as you can see here. Great, so next time we're going to be starting with the prototyping and the animation. We're going to be starting by creating some animations for this one, then animations for the actual nav bar here, Then we're going to be working with the selectors and slides, drop downs, and these buttons. And we're going to be finishing off within 2 or 3 more parts of the series. That's all for today. Today we created the mobile nav menu. So the full page experience here. Thanks for watching. Really hope you enjoyed today's video. Next time we're gonna be continuing with more of the prototyping. And yeah, that's all for today.